I want to talk to you guys really quick about trading into an earnings report. In other words, should you buy shares in a company before they release their quarterly earnings? So let's say a company is about to release their earnings, it's on a Thursday. Maybe on that Monday you say, hey, I saw that company's earnings are coming out. Should I buy stock now ahead of the earnings? It's an earnings play and they're super, super risky. At the end of the day, trading into earnings is taking a very educated guess. That's all you're doing. You know, when you read these analyst reports leading into an earnings report and they say, well, this analyst or that analyst or this banker or that guy or this person thinks they'll beat their earnings. Yeah, they might have some hunch on where it might go based on how it's been performing in previous quarters. But at the end of the day, you're just taking a guess. Do you think, for example, that the sell-off is over, that the bad news, that the bleeding is done? Anything that can be seen as a potential recovery, Wall Street loves that shit. They love the underdog story, the turnaround stocks. Do you want to gamble going into a stock that has been consistently going lower, that this quarter is the one where the turnaround happens? Is that a risk you're willing to take? Is that a guess that you feel confident making? They'll have a reporter say, okay, revenue is up, and you can watch the stock skyrocket on that news. But then as they start reading the report and they go, oh, but debt has increased, people freak out and then they sell it and they go, you gotta get out, you gotta get out, you gotta sell it. And then it drops. And then they go, oh, but daily active user growth is way up. That's good. Now you're back up. So I want to give you an example. Today, Snapchat posted their earnings. The stock has been getting killed, okay? It went all the way from $30 to $5 a share over the course of about a year and a half or 2 years or whatever. And when it hit 5, people started saying, it's, you know, they're worth too much money and they've got too much, there's too much potential there for the company to just go, we tried, fuck it, and close up shop. At some point, they're either due for an acquisition, in other words, another company coming in and buying them, which propels the stock higher, or a management reshuffle, in other words, going, you know, the people that we have in charge right now just kind of suck. Let's fire all of the leaders, replace them with a new management team or a new sales team and see if that spurs growth. And the other option is that it's just overdue for some sort of turnaround. Maybe they have a new product, maybe they have a new demographic, maybe they have a new idea that can cause a turnaround. And so that started happening with Snapchat. It got so low that people started saying, well, who's going to buy it? And just that who's going to buy it rumor started to make the stock edge a little higher. Then they started having some new filters and some new product ideas where you can shop through the app, reaching out to more advertisers. And all of a sudden, before you know it, Snapchat is back, right? It was the app that people were ditching and they were giving up on, and they said, who cares about it? Then it became cool again for whatever fucking reason, hell if I know. People started to like Snapchat again. And it went from $5 to about $14 a share. I think it maybe even went a little higher, pulled back a little bit. That's what stocks do. Do you want to buy Snapchat ahead of earnings? In other words, are you willing to take a gamble that the turnaround is going to continue? They've had a couple of quarters of surprises, right? User growth up, ad revenue up, more downloads of the app. Those are good signs. Will it continue? Are you willing to say here at $14 a share, you know what? I think this is a good entry point. I'm going to take a guess, and that's all you're doing. But going into earnings, I started to get anxious. I started saying to myself, what if this is it for the company? What if they had a few quarters of growth, but at the end of the day, it's just not connecting with people. People really just don't give a shit about this company. What if that's the reality? Now today they reported their earnings. And ahead of earnings, Snapchat stock went up about 5%. Now you can say that it's just people hedging their bets, that the turnaround is in full-blown recovery mode. or you can say that it was insider trading. Maybe someone knew something. Or you can make an educated guess. Here's what ended up happening. Snapchat went from $14 this morning to $14.80 at the close. Snapchat closed at $14.80 something, and the stock skyrocketed. It went up. It went from $14.80 something to 15 in like 10 seconds, right? Then it went from 15 to 15.40 something. Then it went from 15.40 to 16. And as the reporters kept reading news, it kept getting better. Daily active user growth up, revenues up, all the signs that you look for up. They beat on every single section. And a beat means they beat the expectations. They beat their own expectations and they beat Wall Street's expectations. The opposite of a beat is a miss. So you're all sitting at your computer going, please don't be a miss, please don't be a miss, please don't be a miss. It came out, it was a beat. Snapchat then goes to 1642 or 45. So it's up about 10% after hours. So it went up 5% during the day, 10% after hours, it went up 15% all told. Now at that point, something interesting happens. These earnings reports are volatile. A stock will swing like crazy. A company might come out and say, revenues are down, and it plummets. Then they go, but users are up, and it skyrockets. So Snapchat goes from 14.80 to 15 to 16 to 16.42, all the way back down to 15.76. At that point, it's clear that it's profit taking, right? The guys who bought Snapchat at $10 a share are calling it quits. They're going, fuck this, I'm taking my money, it hit $16, that's a lot of money for me, I'm out. Now, before you know it, Snapchat goes from 1570 something all the way to 1660. It's all over the map. That's how earnings go. It's very volatile. So you could go the opposite direction too. All we're doing is gambling when it comes to playing earnings. A friend of mine just now texted me and go, I'm gonna buy it first thing in the morning. And I said, yo, hold up. You don't wanna do that. You don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow morning. There might be a lot of profit taking. You might get in at 1660 at 9:30 in the morning, and then it drops to 15 just because of profit taking. Not everyone who invests in stocks is caught up minute by minute, right? Some people don't know the earnings reports came out today. Some people don't give a shit. They'll wake up tomorrow morning, they'll check their stocks, and they'll go, whoa, Snapchat's 1660. What happened? They'll read their earnings, they'll see the huge beat, they'll sell it, they'll take their profit. So I said, wait, a stock is gonna do two things after a strong earnings report the next morning. It's either gonna sell off a little because of profit taking and then rebound and head higher, or it's gonna head even higher and then more people will feel compelled to take a profit. So I said, your best bet is to just wait it out. You don't wanna chase a stock. That's where mistakes happen. You're gonna chase, buy into its all-time high or its 52-week high, and you're gonna be the guy who bought it at $17 the following morning, only to watch it drop to 15. Maybe you'll get stopped out if you're using a stop loss. Hopefully you are. And then you can watch it slowly drop over the course of the morning and buy it back. Maybe you buy it at 17 and you're lucky and it goes to 21. Who knows? Okay, let's see what happens. It starts trading down a little bit. I'm gonna buy it here into the sell-off because we know it had good news. We know that the morning sell-off is just profit taking. The growth is now continuing. We've got a steady uptrend on the stock now. If anyone is selling it the day after earnings, they're taking the profit. So just wait. You don't want to chase a stock because they'll inevitably pull back at some point, and you don't want to be the moron who bought it at the high because you were hoping it would edge a little higher. Wait. So that's the advice on should you trade into an earnings report. And so ultimately one day the goal is you can be working for yourself, by yourself, from home, in your pajamas like I do, except today I'm wearing a shirt. Like and subscribe. Thanks, have a good day.